All right, so 6.11 is on dividing. And we're not going to do all of these up top, but these first two questions are kind of a review of lesson 1, where we divided by monomials. And we basically, when you do this, you just divide every term in the top by 3x squared. But when we get down here to where it's not a monomial, so it's got x plus 8, the process is totally different. And there's actually a few different methods. I'm going to show you which one I think is the easiest and which is my favorite, and that is synthetic division. So it's not a hard process, but there's a pattern to solving these that you kind of just have to figure out, and you just do this pattern over and over. It's all with numbers, multiplying and adding. So I will write out the steps here. So if you're one that you like to have the steps written out, you can copy those down. All right, so step 1, we have to set up the problem. So we got to set everything up. So we have a box, and in this box, we put the opposite of what we're dividing by. So in what we're dividing by is x plus 8. We're going to put a negative 8 in the box. And then we're going to have a row of numbers going across the top. And those numbers are our coefficients, or those numbers in the problem. 1, 3, negative 43. And that just gets everything set up. Now you're going to be writing something in this space right here, so don't put your line right under those numbers. Now the next thing we do is we bring down the first number. So that 1, we're going to bring it down below the line. From here on out, we're going to take turns multiplying, adding, multiplying, adding. So we're going to multiply. We're going to multiply what's in the box times the bottom number. So we're going to multiply negative 8 times 1. And what is negative 8 times 1? Negative 8. And so we put that in the next spot. And then we add 3. What's 3 plus negative 8? 3 plus negative 8? Negative 5.
Negative 5.
Thank you. And then we're going to repeat. We're going to multiply. What's negative 8 times negative 5? Positive 40. And then we're going to add negative 43 plus 40, negative 3. Now our answer, we have to add a few things to this to get our answer. And we're actually going to work right to left. You're used to working left to right. But starting on the far right, that last number is our remainder. And the remainder, well, I'll tell you that in a minute. So that's our remainder. The next number is our constant. A constant is just a plain number. So like over here, negative 43, that's a constant. It's just a plain, it doesn't have an x with it. Okay, so we go remainder, constant, and then the next one gets an x. If I had another number, I would give it an x squared. And then the next number, I would give it x cubed and so on. But we don't have those numbers. So my answer is 1x minus 5. And then with your remainder, that negative 3, you put that over top of x plus 8. So whatever you were dividing by, that goes under your remainder. Once you get the process down, you'll be like, oh, I love this.
Well, let's not say whoa. That is a strong word.
All right. So let's go to number 2. And let's set up the problem. So in the box, what number goes in the box?
9.
Close?
-9.
Negative 9. It's the opposite. And then what numbers go across the top?
1, 3, and -40.
Good. Okay. All right. So next thing I do is I bring down the first number. 1. Then we multiply. -1 or -9 times 1. -9. And then we add. 3 plus -9 is -6. Then we multiply. 54. Then you add. You multiply the box by whatever number is at the bottom. And then you add straight down. So this should be 11. So the 11, my far right, that's my remainder. Do what? No, you always add. -43 plus 54. So the 11 is my remainder. The next one is my constant. And then from there on, we start building x squared, x cubed, x to the however many times it takes. This time it only took x. So our answer, now, do I have to put the 1 if it's 1x? No. You can. You don't have to. X minus 6 plus 11 over x plus 9. So your remainder, now you may not have a remainder. Sometimes your remainder would be 0. And in that case, you don't have a fraction. It would stop at the -6. Okay. Let's go to number 3. What goes in the box? And what numbers go across the top? Good. 2, negative 16, and 19. This is not. Oh, that's not going to work. I'll stay down. All right, then we draw my line. All right. All right, bring down the first number. Then we multiply. What's 7 times 2? 14. Then we add. What number goes next? Negative 2. Then we multiply. This time I'm doing 7 times negative 2, which is negative 14. And then I add. Close. Positive 5. 19 minus 14 is positive 5. Okay. Then we have to fill in our answer. The 5 is my remainder. Then my constant. And then that one gets an X with it. So 2x minus 2 plus 5 over x minus 7.
Okay. Okay. For the last part, you always just put the last parentheses.
Yeah. It is, if there's a number, if you have a remainder, it always goes over whatever you are dividing by, that x minus 7. If your remainder is 0, like if that said 0 instead of 5, you wouldn't have any of that. It would just stop at the minus 2. Now this next one, there are 4 numbers. The process, we just have to multiply and add 1 extra time. That's the only difference. So what goes in the box? 2. Then across the top, we have 1, 5, negative 7, 2. Now, don't work ahead to 5 and 6 yet. All right. Bring down the first number, 1. Then we multiply. What's 2 times 1? 2. Then we add. 5 plus 2, 7. Then we multiply. 2 times 7, 14. Then we add. 7. Then we multiply. 2 times 7 is 14. Then we add. 2 plus 14, 16. Yeah. 1776. All right. This is my remainder. Constant. Then we start building. X squared goes next.
Oh, it goes like that?
Yeah. X squared, x cubed, just however many numbers. Yep. You will notice your answer, like in number 4, my highest exponent was 3. My answer, the highest exponent was 2. Your answer is always 1 less on the exponent. So x squared plus 7x plus 7 plus 16 over x minus 2. Now, number 5, it's not any harder, but if you look, I go from x cubed to x. It's missing the x squared. So whenever it's missing the x squared, that's really like we have 0 x squareds. In synthetic division, you have to put in a 0 for the placeholder. No. 3, 2. Yeah. So now on your, there's a quizzes that goes with this. I actually went in, and if it was missing one, I already wrote in plus 0x squared. So you wouldn't have to worry about forgetting that. But these didn't have that. So the only difference is when we write our numbers across the top, we have to make sure we put a 0 in because it was missing the x squared. So what number goes in our box? -5. And then across the top, 1, 0, -17, 32. See if you can get those numbers on your own. All right, so we brought down the 1. -5 times 1 was -5. And then when we added, we get -5. Then we multiply to get 25. When we added, we get 8. Then we multiply to get -40. When we add, we get -8. So this last one, that is my remainder, constant, x squared. So my answer is x squared minus 5x plus 8 minus 8 over x plus 5. Any questions? Now, number 6, I did change it a little bit. That last number, 28, I wanted you to change it to a 24. This one is also missing the x squared. So we got to make sure that we put in a 0 for its place. And the box gets an 8. This one has 5 numbers across the top. 8, -64, 0, 3, -24. Bring down your first number. Then we multiply. What's 8 times 8? 64. What's -64 plus 64? 0. What's 8 times 0? What's 0 plus 0? What's 8 times 0? What's 3 plus 0? No.
0.
And 8 times 3 is And negative 24 plus 24 is 0. There's a lot of zeros in that one. So the last one is the remainder. Constant x squared, and this time we have an x cubed.
What would you do? Like, say,
so
plus 0?
You do, if it has a 0, you don't have to write that at all. So we only have to write 8x cubed plus 3. No, the only thing that ever becomes a fraction is the remainder. And we did not have a remainder, so we do not have a fraction. That 3 is my constant, so it's always a plain number. So you will not always have a fraction. Now, on your quizzes, there's synthetic division questions. You've got to have a piece of paper doing this. You have to write this out. You cannot do it in your head. Yes, this is what the quiz is over.